Now, this sheet, I'm going to make this available to you if you want to download this exact master keyword list so you can see the formulas and you can see what we do. I'm about to walk you through it, but if you want to download this exact sheet, it's going to be available with my free masterclass. The link is going to be in the description, so please just click through there. Hey everybody, welcome back to part 3 of our case study on the bullet phishing weights. As you saw in part 1, we used a software tool from Helium 10 to find a potential product. And then in part 2, we used their tool to help validate the ROI on that product. And in this section, we're going to validate the data behind the product. We're going to look at the competitors and answer some really important questions. Before I get started with the presentation, please take a minute and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified of other videos in this series. I'll be putting out regular content. Also, if you have any questions, ask below in the comments and I'll answer them in other videos or in the comments as well. Okay, today I'm going to use some PowerPoint slides, which is a little different, but I want to walk you through the validation process and why we do it and how we do it. So the most important thing for you to remember on Amazon is that you can't create demand on Amazon. So what do I mean by demand? Well, demand to me means the way people are searching for a specific product and how often they're searching for it. So we call those keywords, and then we can use the software and data to determine how many different ways people are searching and the search volume for each of those ways that they're searching. The other question that you have to answer is, how are my competitors getting their sales? So which of those keywords exist and which ones are they ranked on? If you can't answer that question, then you're not going to know how to optimize your listing and how to rank a product and get sales as well. So to me, these are the two most fundamental things that you have to keep in mind, and you always have to answer the question, how are my competitors getting their sales? So I'm going to show you how we do that. The first thing that we look at is the ROI. So in video 2, we went and sourced the product briefly just to see what we could potentially get the product at so that we could verify that there was a viable return on investment or margin. Now, for us, ROI is more important than margin, and I'll explain why. ROI is based on the cost of the product, while margin is based on the sale of the product. So if I buy this product and it costs me $2 to land it at Amazon, get it in after I bounce it off a warehouse, I ship it, and I have additional expenses between the factory, the port, the boat, unloading it, labeling, all the other expenses included, and I get it into Amazon for $2, and every single time it sells, I make $3. Well, that's an ROI of 150%. Now, what we're looking for is to always try to get a product that has at least 150 to 200%. Every single time it sells, I want to be able to buy 2 to 3 more of that product. That allows me to know that I'm turning my cash flow over and multiplying my cash. Now, legal is super important for you to research as well. You might find products that look too good to be true. It's probably because they are too good to be true. If you find one guy absolutely dominating a market and crushing it, and there's no other sellers and you can't explain why, it could be because they have some kind of patent that protects them to be the only seller for that product. And they might just go ahead and file a claim against anybody that comes in. So you need to do your homework and make sure that you understand who owns different design patents, who owns different utility patents, and you need to know the difference between those two. Now, finally, the most important thing that we look at is what we call the master keyword list. That's a strategy that my wife and I developed that we teach in seller systems for validating a product and looking at the keyword research and data to determine whether a product has enough demand, enough opportunity, and giving a risk score to that product. So I'm going to walk you through how we do a master keyword list now. Again, we're back to our our case study that we found with these fishing weights. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up Helium 10. If you guys don't have Helium 10, then you can use the code Seller Systems when you subscribe, and you're going to get 10% off for life. Now, even if you have Helium 10, if you don't have a code or you have a different code, I'd appreciate if you use my code. They will retroactively give you that discount. They're very good about that. So if you've been using Helium 10 without a code, just tell them that you want to switch to Seller Systems, and it will help both of us out. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to do what's called a reverse ASIN lookup. Now, what this tool does is it tells you all of the keywords that a given product is indexed for. Now, indexing means that Amazon thinks it's relevant and the product will show up on that keyword somewhere. Now, that somewhere could be page 25, so it might not actually be relevant, which, we'll get into in a little bit. But what we want to do is we want to look at the top 10 best sellers in a market. So the 10 sellers that are selling the most units in a given niche. So what I've done here, and I've got the 10 best sellers of fishing weights that are shaped like bullets, right? And I want to know all of the keywords that they're indexed for and what position they're in. That way I can narrow it down and find out which keywords are leading to sales. Now, the problem with that is that once I put in all 10 of these, I'm going to have 7,000 keywords, and I'm going to end up with something that looks like this. Now, what we've been able to do is take this data and create our master keyword list. Now, this data here, in a rough sense, I'll give you an idea of what you're looking at. There's a lot of columns with a lot of data and information. We don't need all of that for right now. What we need is the keyword, which is here on the left, and this might be small on your screen, so I apologize. The search volume, which is in C, and then you have position, rank, and N. Now, N is the lead ASIN that you found here. So you have to change, it says position rank. You need to change that to this ASIN. And then you've got the rest of the ASINs here in S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and AA. So what we're going to first do is delete all the columns we don't want. And then we're going to add a column that we call relevancy. And that relevancy column is super important because what we're going to do and what we figured out is that the number of keywords, and this is what it looks like when it's done, the number of keywords that are in the top 45 for a keyword, the higher that number, the more products that are in that top 45, the more relevant the keyword. It's pretty common sense, right? So the more of our top 10 sellers that are ranked well for a keyword, it's likely that that keyword is more relevant. So that's the only logic that we're using here when we add this relevancy column. So what we've done is we've done a count if formula. Now, this sheet, I'm going to make this available to you if you want to download this exact master keyword list so you can see the formulas and you can see what we do. I'm about to walk you through it, but if you want to download this exact sheet, it's going to be available with my free masterclass. The link is going to be in the description, so please just click through there. You can sign up for the free masterclass. There's an hour walkthrough of the entire Amazon private label process. But this sheet will be one of the downloads that you can download for you. Now, what we've done after we've added this relevancy column and we extended it down, you're going to see a few, obviously this is very different than this sheet, but what we've done is we've deleted all those other columns. We've added this relevancy column, and you're seeing over here on the left, the keyword, the search volume of that keyword, the relevancy column we added, and then the 10 best sellers here, and the position that they are each are on that keyword. And I've sorted it by relevancy. Okay, so I'm looking first at the opportunity. By opportunity, I mean how many keywords are there with at least 350 or at least 500 search volume that that are relevant, that are at least a 3 relevancy. If there are less than 10 of those keywords, then that's a product I won't do. And the reason I won't do a product with a low amount of opportunity is because anyone that is bad at Amazon, that can guess and throw darts, can compete with you on that product. Our advantage is creating this sheet. Our advantage is looking at the data, extrapolating that data, and finding all of the relevant keywords. And if other people aren't good at that, they can still beat you if they find a product with not a lot of keywords. So what we're trying to do is find keywords that have at least 20, 30, 40 products with at least 20, 30, or 40 keywords. So that's what we call opportunity. Now, risk is when we assess how good the top 10 sellers are. So you'll notice that I added some additional formulas here in columns 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what I've done in column 10 is I've counted the number of keywords that they are ranked in the top 45, that when I'm looking at the keywords that have at least 40, that they're inside the top 45 with at least a 3 relevancy, so greater than 2 relevancy. Now, the total number of keywords on this product for our case study is 40, so that it has a decent opportunity. I would say it's okay. Now, this competitor here is ranked on 26 of them. That's 65%. That's not bad, but what this tells me is that they're leaving 35% of the total opportunity on the table. Now, more importantly is that, and what's great about the inner circle is I've got really smart people in it, and we've discussed this at end, and a lot of the time, what's more important than the sheer number of keywords is the search volume related to those keywords. So what we've done now is we've looked at the total search volume of those 40 keywords is 31,063. Now, this seller that's in column D, this first one here, is only on 20,074 of that search volume. So again, 65%. It happened to be a match this time. It's not always a match, as you could see when you look across. So that, again, that means that they're leaving 35% of the potential search volume on the table. They're not taking advantage of at least 35% of the keywords that they could be ranked for and selling on. So that shows me that they are beatable and that I can do a better job than them because I know how to find these keywords. I know how to create my listing and optimize for it. And I know how to launch and target those keywords so that I rank well for them. So the 65 is pretty beatable, but this guy's still pretty good at Amazon. He's not very good. He's pretty good. And if you look here on the left, I've got a color chart for you that anyone with at least 80% of the search volume I would consider very good. None of the sellers currently selling this product fall into that category. But you've got quite a few oranges and a bunch of yellows, which I think are okay. Oh, and I have a misspelling here. I'll fix that for you guys. So what else are we looking at? We're looking at, well, first, then I added all the pictures, like the main image of all the sellers up here at the top. I've looked at their monthly sales and I'm comparing it across. And I'm looking at the number of reviews they have. I'm looking at the review rating of each seller. And I want to know the brand name and the price, right? The price for this one, a lot of these guys have different sizes and variations, so I didn't put it here. But you would normally fill it out when you narrow down which variation you want to sell. So what I want to do is I want to look at these different columns and I want to understand how good these sellers are. The next thing I'm going to do is look at the keywords themselves. And I want to take out keywords that that aren't relevant to what I'm selling or that I don't think I can get sales for. So the litmus test to determine whether you keep a keyword is if you can answer the question, can I make sales on that keyword when I rank for it? Because we can rank for any keyword. We know how to rank to the top 10 of any keyword in a few days. But the question is, will you stay there? And whether you stay there will determine whether you're getting clicks and conversions and sales. And so it has to be a relevant keyword. So if we don't think we can sell through a keyword, what we're going to do is we're going to delete it and we're not going to count it and we're going to redo the sheet. Okay. So before you fill out everything, you'd go through the list. Now, what's really interesting, another thing you need to do is, because I'm only counting 3 and up, if I were doing this master keyword list thoroughly, I would go through the relevancy 2s and 1s and even 0s, and I would increase the score of any relevant keyword to 3 so that I keep it. Now, I'm manually going to increase that score because all that matters is that I think I can get sales from it and it's pretty relevant. Remember, the score is based on how good your competition is. And if you've got a bunch of bad competitors that aren't ranked for a lot of good keywords, then the scores are naturally going to be lower on even good keywords. So you might need to go in and manually adjust it. All right. So now we're going to look at the number of sales from these competitors based on the number of search volume. And it should be pretty correlated here. What's interesting is you've got 400 and 499 sales. This guy's doing pretty good with only 46% of the search volume. So there might be some more I want to investigate with him. But you've got 63% of the search volume, and it's 400 sales. Now, when I see an outlier like where he's getting more sales than the search volume should be, like I can look at these guys, they're at 60% and they're getting 400. He's only at 40% getting 400. I'm going to wonder whether this is a major brand. I'm going to Google this competitor. I'm going to Google all these competitors, and I want to see if they're driving outside traffic, if they're sold anywhere else. I'm going to look and see if they have keywords that didn't make my list because they're branded keywords. For example, is this reaction tackle brand a major brand that people are searching for? And so if I just isolate this seller and I use the drop down with this filter here on 11, I filter 11 and I search for reaction, or I just sort this column by highest to lowest, lowest to highest, then I'm going to find all the keywords that are generating sales for this guy that everyone else might not be on. And what you do is you just glance at the relevancy column when you do it, and you might find like, oh, there's a bunch of ones here that are relevancy 1 that just this guy's on. And you ask yourself, well, can I make sales on that? And then you can find even additional keywords. So you can really dig into this list in many different ways from all of that data and find a ton of great keywords. But ultimately what I'm doing is measuring how good the competition is, so I can understand the risk associated with doing a product. So if I see a lot of oranges, like at least 4 oranges and reds, then it's a product that I would consider of a higher risk. This one I would consider medium risk because it's only 3 oranges or reds and everybody else yellow or green. Now, what it comes down to most of the time is that I can beat a green seller within a week or 2 from launch. I'll be ranked better than that guy after a week. The yellows might take me anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks to be ranked better than and making more sales than consistently. The oranges, it might take me a few months, like anywhere from 1 to 3 months. The reds, though, I might never beat. The odds are that they are super entrenched, very good at Amazon, and the best I'm going to be able to do is become a red myself and share the market with them. And I'm okay with that. If I'm slightly in second or third place, but I'm also ranked really well and dominating the market, then I'm okay with that outcome. And so because no one's in the reds here, I would think that this is a market that I might consider entering, and maybe I'll launch it as a case study for you guys. But, I'm not sure on that yet, so don't hold me to it. What's interesting, though, is that even if I duplicate the sales of these first 2 guys on 65 to 70% of the keywords, which I should be able to do within the first couple months, then I can expect to realistically get 400 to 500 sales a month. Now I have a really good idea of how many units I need to order, what my expected ROI and return is on this product, because I want to compete with some of these sellers. And I also can look at their images, I can look at the reviews, and I can go into a much deeper analysis of my competitors to understand how vulnerable they are for me to come in and do a better job. So I hope that this walkthrough with our data analysis and our master keyword list was helpful for you. This is how we really dig in and understand and look at the data. We pull the data from Helium 10, and then we make our master keyword list. And as I said, this is available for download if you sign up for the free course that we have, the free masterclass that we have with the link below. And I'll have it as a download there for you. Aside from that, I hope that you follow. Again, please subscribe. Use the thumbs up and like the video so that I know that this isn't a complete waste of my time, and that you guys are watching and following along, and that you enjoy this series. I'll see you next time when we dig a little bit further into optimization. We're going to assume that we purchased this product and that it's on the way. And now we need to write the listing properly based on the data again. I'll see you next time.